I gotta say, Constellation is both a super straightforward series while being one of the most confusing shows I've ever watched, and episode 7 just adds to the pile of, what the f was that? In this video, we're setting everything straight, diving into the potential idea of 3 different universes, what that ending means, and where this leads into the final episode next week. So grab your tape player because things are heating up. Okay, so a majority of this episode is Joe and the 2 Alices confirming, yes, Joe is caught in the wrong universe and she just doesn't belong there. Something us viewers pretty clearly pieced together episodes ago, so yeah, the dragged out nature of this mystery is starting to grind my gears. But at least Joe has finally arrived to the party of knowing. Joe and Alice listen to the mysterious tapes, learning that the captured audio were the events that happened in the Red universe to the Joe that Paul unfortunately left up in the ISS. So a quick refresher, Constellation is currently broken up into 2 different universes. We're calling them the Blue and the Red universes, where these specific events have taken place. On top of these events, Joe from the Red universe and Paul from the Blue universe have swapped, as we learned last week. So the main crux here is Joe talking with her actual Alice via the tape player and trying to find a way back to visit her. Now, I'm going to be a little scatterbrained here because a lot of small little things are mentioned in this episode, along with the fact that I have been traveling and hella jet-lagged, so here we go. The title of this episode is Through the Looking Glass, of which looking glass is an old-timey term for a mirror. And Joe's daughter is Alice, so Alice in Wonderland, but rather here it's Alice Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland. So basically the 2 Alices hang out in their respective wardrobes and talk to one another via reflections in the mirror and the tape player. A fun little fact though, Red Alice wears the same exact hat that Joe does in the Blue universe because, well, she's presumed dead in space, and it's a subtle way for the Red Alice to remember her mother. Anyway, Joe joins her respective Alice and is able to communicate through Alice to her original Alice. Surprisingly, we've seen this through the looking glass concept before, with of course Bud and Henry looking at the mirror at one another, but we've also seen this in other reflective things like the window Henry looks through in episode 3 and 6, the puddle Alice witnesses her other self throw her stuffed animal on the ground, the office computer, amongst a few other things. So apparently these reflections are a communicative, I don't even know if that's a word, doorway to these other universes. Confusing, I know, but it's about to get even more confusing. So we've established our 2 universe theory, Blue and Red. Now, some other creators and several commenters have suggested that a 3rd universe is at play. Let's just call it the Purple universe, being the in-between or liminal universe, which is exactly where Joe and Alice go in this episode. It's a different cabin that is still intact, but also run down, a bit crispy, and so forth. Heck, the cabin is in this liminal state because in the Red universe it is still intact, while the Blue universe catches on fire. This is further concluded with the Wounded Angel and Changeling paintings being completely swapped. They are mixed one way in the Blue Alice's cabin and another way in the Red Alice's cabin. So yes, a 3rd universe is finally at play, but not really. This mixed up cabin is actually a physical representation of the quantum mechanics theory, Schrodinger's cat, where a cat and dangerous chemicals are put in a box together, and the cat is both alive and dead at the same time, only revealing its true outcome when the box is opened. This is cleverly hinted at by the dead cat in one version of the cabin, while the cat is alive in another version, and then Joe witnesses both simultaneously. So not another universe, but rather a box for them to stay in and determine the outcome of themselves. Heck, you could even chalk this up as Alice being the cat in this case, because she is okay in one universe, while the other she suffers from smoke inhalation, but appears to make it through at the end of this episode. I will say I was a little confused thinking that there was way more universes and universe switching because Magnus does walk by a Wounded Angel painting, of which we were shown a Changeling painting in this universe, but rather both paintings are in fact present in each universe, just positioned differently on the walls. You're welcome, because this right here threw me way off the first time I watched this. As for how Magnus could see Joe in the Blue Universe is beyond me. I'm assuming the whole cabin incident and Cal device reactivating caused. But it is interesting that Alice mentions people who are upset and have been to space see these things, so a further nugget of information. Anger in space does lead me over to the Henry/Bud situation. We know from episode 5 that Bud is severely unhappy with his life and is trying to do anything and everything to get back to his original Blue Universe, and that seems to be the case once Henry tries to enter the cabin helping Joe and Alice. Whatever power the Cal has combined with stress/anger and the Schrodinger's cat nature of the cabin allows the pair to switch universes again. So at this point, Henry is in the universe where Bud shot Paul and threw the other guy overboard of the cruise liner, while Bud is back with the Cal device and in the main universe that the show has been following. This is a very interesting. We'll have to wait and see what Bud's grand plan is. But as for Henry, he is in a bad spot. I'm assuming he's going to have to answer for the presumed dead Paul at this point, along with the ongoing investigation with the FBI agent aboard the ship. Basically, Henry is if he can't science his way out of this, because remember, there is no Cal device in the Red Universe, or rather, it was abandoned decades ago. The ending is a wackadoo, weird dream vision world where it's confirmed that the Valia is Irina, but in the universe where she burnt up in space. So yeah, the theory of the weird cosmonaut Joe witnessed in episode 1 is in fact the Red Universe's Irina, who died in, I think it was 1967. Honestly, I don't know how Alice was able to see her. It could be, again, some sort of looking glass or reflective object situation, meaning dreams may be another way to view these multiple universes. Heck, I mean, personally, I've had dreams that feel so vivid, but a completely different universe that I was living in, only to wake up and be here again, which is, honestly, maybe not normal to have. I don't know. So let me know your explanation for this in the comments. But the bigger thing I think we can take away from this is that Irina is probably not a good person. Alice knows this by saying we need to get Joe back from her, and that Joe is probably being taken to the secret facility of Irina's, where it was previously hinted or mentioned that former astronauts go when they have, quote, burnout. I'm curious if this will be like a brainwashing, really grimy, gross, dark facility to make Joe forget about everything that has happened to her, but clearly Alice knows she's in trouble, and yes, the Valia is, yeah, it's terrifying, but is Irina from the other universe. I gotta say, the show has been dragging things out way longer than it needs to be. I understand some of the material is very complex with the shifting universes and such, but at this point it's both spoon-feeding us while remaining intensely vague. My biggest bugaboo is please give us some concrete answers and stop showing the same thing over and over and over again, but like in a different light, if that makes sense. Setting up the final episode next week, I think there has got to be a season 2. I feel like there are dozens of questions and not near enough time to explain it all, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bud has a much bigger focus in season 2, along with Paul, if he survives the gunshot, and heck, whatever the heck Irina is doing with Joe. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you have been enjoying about this series, and what do you think will be some of the big reveals and or cliffhangers for next week's episode. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to JBuck Studios. It really helps out the channel and motivates me to stay up to date, cranking these breakdowns out for everyone. If you haven't, please check out all of my other social media accounts. Everything is in the description. I'm still working on my Everything I Watched at South by Southwest video, so stay tuned. You're the bestest, and poopy loopy, here comes the Sloopy.